Hi, and welcome to the Trucking Scribe. It's Esther. Today we're looking at masterboards. I already cut all these up, but we're going to work on stamping them today. A full 12 by 12. We're going to stamp them and make nice journaling cards and stuff like that. Also, this is a collaboration that I'm doing with Crafty Christmas in July 24 with Terry over at Sweet Pea Papers and journaling, tutorials, and more. She's doing a Christmas collaboration in July. There are 25 ladies that are on the design team. Then we have 11 shops that donated digitals. I'll get it right in a minute. Donated digitals for the collaboration. There is a giveaway at the end of the month. You have to post in Sweet Pea Papers or Junk Journal, Tutorials, and More, or both, to be entered to win. You have to have that hashtag Christmas or Crafty Christmas in July 24 to be entered. So I hope that you enjoyed the video. Hi, and welcome. Today we are on day 7 of our Jesusinjuly 24 Bible study. So we're celebrating the birth of Jesus in July instead of December because we do Christmas in July. So I thought this year we would do Jesus in July also. So we're looking at Matthew 2:1 through 12. So the wise men. Visitors from the east. Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea during the reign of King Herod. About that time, some wise men from eastern lands arrived in Jerusalem, asking, "Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star as it rose, and we have come to worship him." King Herod was deeply disturbed by what he heard, as was everyone in Jerusalem. He called a meeting of the leading priests and teachers of religious law and asked, "Where is the Messiah supposed to be born?" "In Bethlehem in Judea," they said, "for this is what the prophet wrote. And you, O Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, are not least among the ruling cities of Judah. For a ruler will come from you who will be the shepherd for my people Israel." Then Herod called for a private meeting with the wise men, and he learned from them the time when the star first appeared. Then he told them to go to Bethlehem and search carefully for the child. "And when you find him, come back and tell me so that I can go and worship him too." After this interview, the wise men went their way, and the star they had seen in the east guided them to Bethlehem. It went ahead of them and stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were filled with joy. They entered the house and saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshipped him. Then they opened their treasure chests and gave him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. When it was time to leave, they returned to their own country by another route, for God had warned them in a dream not to return to Herod. So that is the story of the wise men. So I'm still thinking about the shepherds the other day, and when we were talking about the shepherds being the first people to seek Jesus, to go and visit him. Well, in the story of the wise men, or the Magi, it talks of them following the star and knowing that Jesus was already born. So in the heart of the Christmas narrative, an episode of intrigue and devotion unfolds. The journey of the wise men, also known as the Magi. These learned men from the East embarked on a quest guided by a celestial event, a unique star leading them to the birthplace of Jesus. However, the gifts they presented to the newborn king are equally intriguing and significant. These were not random tokens of honor, but carefully chosen items, gold, frankincense, and myrrh, each carrying deep symbolic significance. Gold, recognizing the kingship, The first gift, gold, is a universal symbol of wealth, royalty, and status. By offering gold to Jesus, the Magi acknowledged him as a king, but not just any king, but rather a king whose reign would not be limited to the earthly borders, but would extend to the hearts and lives of people worldwide and across time. Frankincense. Frankincense, the second gift, is a type of incense used in religious rituals and ceremonies. By bringing frankincense to baby Jesus, the wise men acknowledged his divine nature and his role as a spiritual leader. This gift prefigured Jesus' role as a mediator between humanity and God, offering himself as a spiritual sacrifice. You can see the different versions of the wise men. Myrrh was a foreshadowing of sacrifice. The last of the three gifts, myrrh, was a burial spice in ancient cultures. It seemed like a strange gift for a newborn, but it was highly symbolic in the context of Jesus' life. The gift of myrrh foreshadowed the suffering and death that Jesus would endure as part of his sacrificial love for humanity. The gifts of the Magi were not just valuable items, but symbolic gestures recognizing Jesus' kingship, divinity, and the sacrificial role he was to play. As we celebrate Christmas, it's worth reflecting on the significance of these gifts. They remind us of Jesus and what he means to us, a king to be honored, a God to be worshipped, and a Savior who made the ultimate sacrifice for us. As we give and receive gifts this holy season, remember the original Christmas gifts and their profound significance. So we are going to read a little bit more about the Magi on Wednesday, King Herod's reaction and how the Magi brought this news to King Herod that Jesus was going to be born. We were working on a master board last night because today is Monday. Yesterday was Sunday when I put this one up. So this is the one we worked on. We just were using scraps from this. Believe it or not, this little box will hold these just perfectly in here, the 5x7 sizes. So we're working on these ephemera form. Don't really need all of them out. So this one is the scraps from this book. These other ones are the scraps from these two and some other scraps that I have. So we have a rustic kind of feel on this one. I used scrapbook paper that I had that I wasn't in love with. And it's pretty sturdy with the glue and the scrapbook paper. So I've just went and put this on any kind of way. You can see here I even left some of the red. I didn't realize I hadn't finished it. This are some journaling cards that went with the little Nordic Christmas. So I'm going to cut them out. But I'm thinking I was going to hold on to them for right now because we can do some stamping. So I did want to say thank you. I forget sometimes, not sometimes. I'm really forgetful. But I have a lot of people leaving comments, and I just wanted to say thank you to Rachel Q Stitches. She does quilting. I just watched a video from her on paper foundation piecing by hand. Angela Critters. Now, Miss Angela makes some good food. I wish I lived closer because she makes me hungry every time I see her. She made a peanut butter cookie crust pie Saturday, I believe. It may have been yesterday. And then this morning I watched she made the filling for that peanut butter pie, and it just looks so good. Then there's Sandy's Home Recipes. She makes some really good food. Trissy, I hope I'm saying that right, Trissy Wilson, Kitty, and Bert. So Bert is with Bert's Beats He does a lot of singing and other stuff. So he gets around. He knows a lot of people. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to pull out some of this stamping. This would look good. I don't know if I have a stamp that big, a stamp block. If I do, it's going to be barely. So I'm going to put this one to the side. I do want to do some stamping on it, but I want to wait. I like this writing. No, I can't get the whole thing on there, but we're going to use the part that I can. I do have a bigger stamp thing, but I don't really want to use that right now because I am looking at just getting some stamping down. Just like that, so that it's scattered around. This is a good mass make project. You can make your master boards ahead of time. I'm going to put these over here. So you can make the master boards ahead of time of anything. Just work on them. And then use the same stamp and just move around and stamp it all over. There's no right or wrong. It doesn't have to be perfect. See, that didn't get all the way. That's just fine. And I have so many stamps that, I'm looking right now for the rustic kind of ones. I know this is not rustic in first century rustic because it has the cursive handwriting that we use today. But you could think of this also as it's just an older journal or older Christmas book that has been put up. Maybe your grandparents or their grandparents, it's been passed down through the years. So I'm going to take this and put it back up. That's the one thing that I do try to do is to put these back where I know what they are. So this one up here, I like it. Let's go ahead and see what it does. It may or may not be big as this stamp. So I turn mine over. I don't know. I found that I have better luck with turning the stamp instead of taking the stamp and putting it on the ink. That thing's falling over here. So the wise men, they've always been fascinating to me, how they found Jesus and went looking for him. And apparently, I don't know how long after Jesus' birth that they found him, how old he was. But in Wednesday's Bible study, we're going to be talking about Herod. He's the king at the time of Jesus' birth. And Herod has heard about Jesus and does not want Jesus to be king of anything. Well, as we've talked about in the other videos on this series, that nobody expected Jesus to come as a child. They didn't expect him to be born in a manger. They certainly did not expect him to be born on the lowest level of society that they have. So they were looking in the wrong places for Jesus to start with, and I think we all do that. We look in the wrong places. we're searching for them and all this fancy, let's say fancy. Okay, let me give you an example. This to me speaks of fancy because of the gold and just it looks pretty. And then I open this and this is not what I was expecting of something like this. So you've got an outside cover that is showing, I guess, status. That is one of the reasons I got this particular color, is because of the gold and black and how it looked more like royalty. But the more that I do this study, the more I feel like this needs to be in a different binder. Even just taking this and cutting it and putting some rings on it, I feel like would be better than being in here. So, you know, we look at that shiny stuff, and like I said, I give you an example of me because, well, I don't know. That's the only thing I can think of at the moment. And every time I look at that journal, it just feels like this is the wrong journal for this. Like I said, we may just go ahead and fix this up a little. I don't have any ring binders. I do. We could do some string. So we may just do that today. Cut these up and just make a new cover. We can tie it with string. So I'm gonna put this up. So we have this one and this one that says approved. So what you could do to save a little time, you've got these bigger stamps like this. Just put them on there, kind of wonky. No specific way. And do your stamping all at one time. Let's see what I got here. I have a flower. Now, I like stamping, so I'm one that I would probably just as soon stamp them one at a time. But then, too, by the time you get all of this filled up, you know, I'll put this one over here. And what you can do is do like this and do two at a time, so you've got some of it coming off the edges. Like right here, that one would fit just right there. You can see the ink on there. So, let's see. I think these would look good on those cards too, so I'm fixing to grab them. And we can ink them, we can stamp them while we're at it. But yeah, I don't know why that just came to mind when we were talking about Jesus today, and the fact that he was born where nobody was expecting him. And it just kind of like, oh wow. So what I'm going to do, because I don't want to put all that on here, I think I'm going to put this right here. So for this, I kind of want to use this little postage stamp. Those just remind me of postcards. So I want to kind of make them look like a postcard. I know my stamp is on here wrong. And I don't want it exactly straight on all of them either, now that I'm thinking about it, because stamps go on all kinds of ways, don't they? So I'm going to go through here while I got this one on, and I'm going to put a few more stamps. Because for me, I like I need one over here. And when we cut these out, you may or may not get the whole stamp. So kind of what we're looking at now, instead of first century ephemera, we're looking at 20th century. We have stamps. I'm sure they had stamps back then. They had writing and stuff. So it's just where your imagination wants to take you and say, this is where this paper came from. You can put a lot of stamping on it. You can put a little, and you can see where the different layers of paper, that some of it's picking up better than others. This here was a piece of stamped page from this. I just glued it down. I cut a piece and glued that down right there. So even your extras that you're stamping onto, you can save them and glue them on. I think I already got this one pretty good. So I'm not sure about this red, but it's starting to blend, so I think I'm going to leave it because that was the color of the background pages. I think I'm going to do a red one. Approved red. And actually, we can just go on through here and do a few more. I'm going to put one right here too because I don't know what I'm going to do with that yet. So the red looks Christmassy, and the stamp looks like a mail something. Putting the mail approved stamp. I have some of those in there too, so I'm going to cover up this black for right this minute. So I know my videos get long sometimes. I try to take a lot of it out, but then there's times where I'm actually talking and I'm like, no, I don't know if I should take that out or not. So right here I got a really light. We should have kept one of these and just a before and, well, I can still do a before and after, can I? can get one of the pictures from the beginning of the video and we can look at them side by side. So I'll try and pick that up when we get done at the end of the video so you can see how it looked when we started and the difference that we're making with these stamps. You know, the good thing about stamps is you could use anything, really. You could use the bottom of a glass jar. You could use that and it would put a stamp on it. So there's all kinds of things that you could pick up and just use. I got this one. And I do have all kinds of colors over here. So this is just giving it more layers. I do want to do something with the little flower on the girl one. Let's try the blue. So this is twilight blue. But yeah, we get to looking so much into more expensive things with a pretty cover on it, and we forget to look at those things that a lot of times we just kind of put off to the side and ignore. The ordinary everyday stuff. And you know, that could have been Jesus, and he would have, and you know, and we could have missed him altogether by looking in different places that we would have originally thought to see Jesus, like in a castle with trumpets and horns and all kinds of stuff being blown to say, hey, Jesus is born. But no, God sent the angels to tell certain people that Jesus was here. And on top of that, he sent a star as his announcement. Besides the angels announced, but the star also was an announcement that Jesus was born and he's here. Come and see him. So I think I'm just going to put this right there. Put one right here. So I'm not sure about there. What you can do is you could put a couple of them right here. So Jesus takes us as we are, just, what do you call it? So we're not perfect. We're not shiny and bright. But we are still, each one of us are still just as important to God as Jesus was. So this one I'm just going to stamp across here, I think. I don't know what it says, but I like the script. Oh yeah, that says Christmassy to me. I think I'm going to do this one right across both of them, so when I cut that, that will be cut off. Same thing here. And I can just keep stamping this one, since we decided it's not first century, it could be this century, which it is. Oh, see, now it's starting, for me, it's starting to get kind of full for that one. Let's see, this one could probably have a little bit. So you start with your bigger stamps, which I guess technically I did. And if you have your pages under, they can just stamp on top of each other. I was thinking about some watercolor on these, but I think we'll wait on the watercolor. So today, I forgot when I first started, but I usually do my intro separate from the rest of the video. So I am working with Terry over at Sweet Pea Paper and Junk Journal Tutorials and more. She has been doing a collaboration all month long with 25 other YouTube ladies, and it's called Crafty Christmas in July 24. We have all agreed to do at least 4 videos for the month of July. So I know we had a few drop out. Unfortunately, life happens. So we were, even with the ones that dropped out, a lot of the collaborators have made more than 4. And Terry, all by herself, made 25. So there's a lot. So definitely go and check them out. So we also had 9, no, what am I talking about? 9. We had designers donate kits for the collaborators to use. There are 11 of them. 11 that donated. Some of them donated more than one. So definitely check out the box below, the description box, and go over there and see these ladies, because they all have different gifts and they all have something different to show, even if it's the same technique or it's the same tack. We're all different, so we all have different ways of doing stuff. And in the world of junk journaling, we just learn from each other and pass it on. But this has been a great collaboration. I have gotten a lot out of it just watching everybody else. I had not planned on doing Jesusinjuly, but as I was getting ready, I just had this feeling that, hey, you need to do this for whatever reason. So that's what we did. And it has went really well. I'm thinking about what I can do for December. I have a Bible study that is 31 days that's centered around the Nativity. And what I'm thinking about doing is maybe just do the reading every day, put up a video with the reading, and then throughout the month, do my crafts separately. So have 2 different videos. But I'm not sure yet. Yeah, I would really like your thoughts. Leave me a comment in the description below of what you think. If you like them both together so you can see them all at one time. If you think you might like separate ones with just the readings. And I can do that already. So what I can do, what I did do with this, I read the Luke chapters 1 and 2, and I read Matthew 1 and 2 before we got started for people that had not heard it before or may not be able to read it. My mom has low vision, so that comes to mind when I'm reading for all the scripture and all. I try to read it because I know that my mom, she can't see to read anymore. So it is a blessing to have somebody read for her. And I know there's a lot of other people out there just like my mom that can't see or don't know how to read. Because we're talking about people all around the world, not just people here in the United States or the United Kingdom and different places that grew up and have schools. And that's, you have to go to school around here, which is a good thing, I know, but there are places where school is not a requirement, so people do not know how to read. I'm thinking that's looking good. Actually, kind of like that little bit of pink that came from the background. Okay, so I want to do a little bit more over here. I don't know if I want this one. Maybe the bubbles. Let's see. So I got this one on Amazon too. Pretty much all my stamps came from Amazon. Even I've got one Tim Holtz, I think. I'm kind of thinking the bubble one. Maybe this one. I don't know what color I want. Let me print this down here and just see. Oh, that is a pretty color on this. So I'm just going to go in and I may just go across right here. Like I said, we're going to cut these and trim them off. I actually think this one might look good all the way around. Just give it kind of like a splatter of ink all the way around. Now I have been using my master boards is something to lay behind this to keep my mat from getting dirty as I've gone, but I don't know. This blue is a pretty blue. I don't know that one on my others, but I'm going to stick it under there. And if it gets on there, well, it just gets on there. So I'm going to put this across here because I'm thinking that bottom down there, I may do something else. Let me see what other kind of stamp I got. I like the blue though. Yeah, I want this one on. These feathers. I'm thinking these are getting pretty full. So one thing that I love playing with too is the die cuts when I can remember to get them out. So this is my box of die cuts. I have some little one-page wonder things that I played with and I got sidetracked and quit doing them. Little booklets like this. Now these are cute for ATC cards or as an insert for a journal. Let's see. So then I made my daughter some stuff with Taylor Swift on it and she fell in love. This is one of the little folios that I had made. I never finished. What I'm looking for is stuff like this. So this would probably look good on there. Even though this was an outdoory kind of a thing. And it gives another layer. So I'm just trying to I can put the pin in that. I bet it's all. And I want to try and get around the edges, but if I don't, it'll probably be okay. So I really don't know what's the best for these die cuts. But when I cut the boards up, then I can check and see if I need to add more glue. So I can just flip this over, put it right there. I have some more. This one would go good on here. I'm going to try the darker too. You don't have to worry about finding me some scrap paper. You can just do it on here. Let's try this. Gently using this glue because it will go right up under your die cuts. What else I got in here? I got flowers. These will be much easier to put on. I just cut these out as I look at that. I think that would be one of the perfect things to go on here. And I'm just going to try and get the edges. And these I think I made out of Dollar Tree paper. That side will look good. I know you're saying that you didn't stamp it. We can come back in with some stamps if we want. I'm going to do one more. Not that one, I want to save that one. Look at this. So these were made with paste. It's called paste paper, but it was some kind of a flour they used to put the colors in, and then you put it on your paper and you mix media kind of thing. I'm just going to do this. See, there's just so much stuff in my die cut box that I forget because it's sitting over yonder. But I did want to show you that you could use your die cuts too for this. So I have all these tags. They could go on one. It's not quite the right color. Would it go with this other one? Yeah, we'll do that. So I don't know, I would want to do this before I did the stamping, just because usually I do the stamping last. This might be another video. I had another plan for Wednesday. I don't know. This one has done got long. I guess when I edit it, I will kind of look and see what I think. If I want to cut out a lot, or if I want to. Let's see, I like that rough edge right there, so I try not to cover up those as much. This would look good with this one. And there's a piece from the other day. I think I just threw it on here. Now I do this in my trash can so I don't get glitter everywhere. Still gets everywhere, but just gives it another look. So these have dried. I put you can see the glitter. I can see the glitter. I don't know if you can. They're looking much better. Definitely thicker. This one's is on the back of the cardboard. You can see some places the glue didn't stay down, but we can just take and put more glue on it. Just like that. Hi. So I am back. I lost the footage of chopping up this masterboard. But I'm going to put a picture here in the end of the beginning versus the end. Both of these are parts of the masterboard. We got little tags and other stuff that we're going to work on and put in our journals. So thank you so much for watching. It'd be great if you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave me a like, and a comment would be just the best thing in the world. I love comments. See what you guys are thinking, what you might want to see in the future. So let me know. Hope you have a great day.